Action.
Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my trash can banging brother, Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Are you sure you hit record?
I think so.
Okay, well, I guess we'll
banged
find
the
out.
button.
You banged the button.
Banged the button.
Good job. You're
It
a great banger.
was a curveball, and I banged the button.
Is this where we're gonna start? Banging and trash cans and press
I
conferences.
don't know. It's been a busy week. We can start there. It's been a really busy week, right? A lot of people showing up to spring training, so now they're in front of the media, and we have
a lot of sound bites.
A lot of sound bites, right? Let's go with the biggest sound bite, and I have no problem calling this a complete dumpster fire and especially considering the team that put it on. That press conference by the Astros was hot garbage. I mean, it was ridiculous. I've never heard such stupidity in my entire life from people who are guilty. Imagine going up and standing in front of a judge being found guilty of murder and saying, "Oh no, it didn't have an impact on their lives." Well, then why are you guilty? I didn't say it didn't have an impact on anyone's life.
And to be clear, that was not a comment from the player. That was a comment from an owner of a billion-dollar franchise.
Someone needs to get that guy a dollar dictionary because, I mean, it was insane. At one point, he said, "We did not cheat." And they asked him afterwards, "Well, if you didn't cheat, why did you apologize?" He goes, "Well, we apologized because we broke the rules." Hey, man, someone get that guy a thesaurus.
I found it very funny. It was funny at the end to me because I'm like, this can't get any more pathetic than.
I found it funny as well, but I also found something else. This is a franchise problem. They have a systemic cultural problem within the entire franchise.
Right.
Within the entire framework of that franchise. They have a problem. I don't know how you go about fixing it, but it is an organizational issue. It's not AJ Hinch. It's not Lunau. It's not Cora or Beltran. It's not one person. It's a cultural issue. It came out a little bit during the playoffs when that assistant GM made those comments directed at female reporters, and they came out in spades to say it didn't happen, and then but it did happen, and they immediately changed tack and fired the guy. They have a systemic problem.
So it starts with the owner.
Yeah.
I think, right? Because
fish rots at the head.
Right. And I think that's even more clear now that it starts with the owner after his comments, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean they just made no sense. Like
it was comical. It was so embarrassing.
Altuve and
Bregman.
I mean, those were scripted. That shit was all scripted. I mean, it looked like they were just there reading what they memorized and just get out of there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that didn't last more than a minute and a half.
No, and I don't have a problem with that because I don't expect those guys to give me a heartfelt apology for something that is systemic, right? If it was one person, then I would want a heartfelt apology, right? If you're Ron Artest, right, and you ran into the stands and got into a fight, I expect a heartfelt apology from you because it's you. This is a systemic problem. It's not Altuve's fault. It's not Bregman's fault. It is the Astros organization. It is their fault.
Right, but they represent the Astros, and they actually participated in this deal. So, but I think they would be viewed a little different if they showed a little more remorse.
Absolutely.
And so have an involvement in it. I kind of expect them to give me a little more, kind of not come from the heart a little bit, or not exactly make it sound scripted.
I would hope that they would do that, but I'll tell you, in my experience as a professional and as a parent, when it's a group, you're not going to get a heartfelt apology. When it's one person by themselves, right? When you catch your kid doing something by himself, he'll apologize and it'll be heartfelt. If you catch all of your kids doing something together, they're like, well, but I'm sorry. I mean, in general, that's the way I think. That's why, while I would have liked to have heard a heartfelt apology, I was not surprised that we did not get it. And especially because I think the organization has a organizational problem.
Yeah. I mean, on another hand, I'm not surprised because of their cockiness throughout this whole time, right? So it's this is them, right? Or it's what the parents allow the children to do, right?
You are absolutely right. You are 100% correct there.
So it's just, this is like good for baseball, but not good for baseball, because this is a lot of talk. All of a sudden, the Astros are the villains, and what I don't agree with out of all this is, any attempt for teams to play beanball. I'm sure they deserve whatever is coming to them as far as the heckling and all that, but I don't think teams should go out there and, play beanball. I'm sure there'll be some teams or players that, have a call up for a day and, maybe unleash one to the ribs. I don't know, but doing it purposely, or let it be known that, hey, there's going to be retaliation, that part I don't agree with.
I completely disagree with you. The game of baseball, and a lot of sports, works better when you let the players police themselves. And I'm not an advocate of a pitcher saying, I'm going to bean the first Astros I can get my hands on, or I'm going to headhunt the first Astro I see. In fact, I'm not a fan of a player saying anything. But that Altuve should catch one in the ribs, if a pitcher wants to do that, I don't have a problem with it. I'll tell you what else I don't have a problem with, and I hope this doesn't happen. I want the umpires to stay out of the way.
No, that's not going to happen.
But it should. Because the Astros have a right to defend their batters as well, right? If, let's say, and I'll give you an example, the first series, right? Let's say the A's. Mm-hmm. First inning, they bean Altuve, right? And by bean, I don't mean in the head. I don't advocate. But they put one between his numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Bottom of the first comes around, and the Astros are like, all right, we'll let it go. And normal inning. When he comes back up in the third inning or in the fourth inning, a guy beans him, or now the second time around, he beans Bregman, right? In the fourth inning, let's say.
Right.
In the bottom of the fourth, when it's time for, or the top of the fifth, whatever, when it's time for the Astros to pitch, the Astros, I don't want the umpire to say anything after the first or second beaning. I want him to not say anything because the Astros have the right to then come back and say, listen, we can play that game too, right? If someone wants to take it too far, then the Astros have the right to come back and say, we're going to handle it. And I think Dusty Baker did the wrong thing by saying something about it, because while I think there were teams out there that probably would do that, mm-hmm. I think there were a fair amount of teams that weren't going to do it. There were a fair amount of teams that don't care, right? They're like, whatever, it's not my problem. But now that you said it, everyone's on notice. And what's worse is, I think he has taken the get even ability mm-hmm. out of his pitcher's hands. Because now they're going to get that first one, they'll get a freebie. And then what are you going to do? Altuve's got sore ribs and you're Verlander. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of goes, for me, it goes back to what we mentioned earlier, right? The parents, are the parents going to allow the kids to play? That's why, who polices in a household, the parents or the kids. This is kind of like the same thing, which is why I have such a big problem with the commissioner not policing this, because he said today that he knew it was going on 17 and 18, but he didn't see, and I don't know the exact quote, but he knew it was going on in 17 and 18 and couldn't come up with why they would be doing it again. So he actually thought they had stopped. So he had 3 years to police this. Instead, in the 3 years, he's talking about shortening up the game, robot umpires, 3 batter minimum. See, so this is
to be fair, he's working on everything. Just because he's talking about shortening the game doesn't mean he's not dealing with this issue behind the scenes.
No, he's only dealing with this issue behind now because it came about. It's the same.
Well, yeah, because it's Alex.
It's what Chris Bryant said. Chris Bryant said they're only apologizing because they got caught.
Well, yeah.
It took 3 years for this investigation to happen. Come on, man.
Think about it. Do you know? Look,
I can't agree.
There's 30 teams. There's 30 teams in Major League Baseball. How many complaints do you think he gets during the course of a season from 30 teams?
About cheating?
About cheating? About cheating, about all kinds of stuff.
About cheating like this with technology?
I bet you he gets complaints.
Man.
And here's the other thing. No. You're assuming that he's getting information that is actionable. He's half the time, you know what he's getting? Hey, Rob, the Astros stole our signs. Oh, yeah? Why do you think that? They hit the shit out of my pitcher. They must have been stealing my signs. They laid off of all the curveballs. Really? All of them? Well, most of them. I just don't understand how they got away with it. How they do it. It's just a complaint. So it's difficult.
How long did it take them? How long did it take them from when these videos came out to up until now? How long did it take? How long did it take for them to get rid of Beltran? To force him to get resigned or fired or mutually parted ways with the Mets? It didn't take them that long. So why did it take him 3 years?
But MLB had nothing. MLB didn't dismiss Beltran.
But why did it take him 3 years? But he's in the report, so there's no way in hell that he was going to allow baseball was going to allow him to manage a baseball team because they want to punish him.
Hold on a second. You're asking for a time frame for MLB to do something, and you're including the firing of Beltran, and that's
okay. Let's get rid of Beltran. Okay, you're right. So it took them 3 months?
It took them more than 3 months.
5 months.
Right.
For 3 years, something that you've been knowing for 3 years.
Right, Alex, but if someone comes...
I don't understand. Hold on. I don't understand how you can side, or anybody can side with Rob Manfred playing people as dummies. I mean, I just don't understand it. This guy knew what was going on. He sent out memos to teams, and he just let it go on. And now he says he doesn't see why he would think that the Astros would do it in 2019. But wait, there's more. You punished the Red Sox a couple years ago for this Apple Watch thing.
In 17,
2 years ago. But you have another ongoing investigation going on right now that you say is going to come out in a week. Well,
no, it's more than a week.
Did you not think they were... Why is it different? Did you not think they were going to be cheating or what? I just... Rob Manfred, you like Rob Manfred, and that's okay. Yeah, and some people do, but he is there. He is the commissioner. He is the sheriff with the badge. He should be policing the game. The same way he wants to police how long a game takes, he should be policing this scandal. I mean, what the fuck?
I agree with you that he should have done more.
Steroids benefited baseball. He didn't have anything to do with steroids, I think. No, that was a Bud Selig thing. But PEDs and steroids benefited baseball until this freaking Mitchell report came out. This right now doesn't benefit baseball. It's not benefiting. It might get more ratings. You might get more seats and, from out-of-towners, to at Minute Maid. But this is not benefiting baseball. This is horrible. How about trying to grow the game? Look what the NBA is doing with the international players. They're not growing the game. He's not doing nothing. He's worried about fucking robot umpires and 3-batter minimum. And that is not making the game better. The commissioner is at fault here. And I don't care what anybody else says. That's my stance on it, and that's it. There's like nothing that can change my mind on what Rob Manfred is doing.
What I think that the part where I think you're being a little short-sighted with Manfred is he can't go out and investigate every single complaint that comes to his office with a guy saying they stole my sign, they stole our signs. And him saying, well, what do you have as far as proof goes? And them saying, I don't have any proof, but they must have been stealing my signs. That's the problem. So
if you want to believe that, that's fine. I can't believe that.
But Alex, you're assuming that he.
I'm not assuming nothing.
What you're assuming is that he is some kind of law enforcement official, and he has.
Yeah, he is.
But
he is the commissioner. Absolutely. He's got all the power in the fucking world.
No,
you know why? You know why? You know why he has the power? He's backed by the owners. He's backed by the fucking owners. He's got all the power in the world.
Alex, that comment right there is where you are dead wrong.
He's got all the power in the world.
If he goes to talk to the players and the players decide, I'm not talking to him, he's screwed. His investigation's over. It's not like he's law enforcement, like he's a cop and he can just arrest someone and have pull him in for questioning for 72 hours. So while he may have had some information, he at some point he got something actionable. And I think what people are focusing on is that every complaint is actionable, and not every complaint is. It's just not.
We're talking cheating here. It's the same thing as stealing and robbing. We're not talking about fucking, this guy's using fucking 1-foot cleats, metal cleats. We're talking about cheating here. So, what the fuck? Well, I just don't get it.
I agree with you, but
I don't get it.
I just don't think that every complaint is actionable. And while there have been whispers. And he doesn't have, he can't, it's not like the police where the police can say, well, we'll charge you with obstruction of justice, right? If you don't talk to us about this crime, we'll charge you with obstruction of justice. If he says to a player, look, either you talk to me or I'm going to suspend you, the player goes, okay, suspend me. And the first thing he's going to do is call his player union rep, and it'll be squashed in less than 5 minutes.
Manfred
he doesn't have
the balls to do anything. Okay, if I go and I steal a fucking $1 million and I buy cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, a house, I buy my mom a house, I buy you a house, get caught 2 years later. Do you think I'm going to have all that fucking equity? No, I'm going to go to jail and they're going to confiscate everything that I have. So, Rob Manfred doesn't have the fucking balls to confiscate anything of the Astros or vacate nothing. So he let them pretty much lie, cheat, and steal. Okay, because these players get bonuses for winning the World Series and League Championship MVPs. So he let them have. Hold on, he's letting them have all that while admitting yes, they cheated during 17 and 18.
Okay, so hold on a second. Now it's because as we talk about this, it's becoming clear to me. Your problem isn't.
Nope, it's not. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Your problem isn't that it took so long. Your problem is with the punishment that was doled out.
Well, both. Both. It took too damn long. If you knew it was happening, why not fucking do something about it?
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
I'm just adding on with the with the punishment. That's all.
Well, to be fair,
I'm not with I'm not going to side with the LA Dodgers and their people and the councilmen saying, give them the title. No, I don't care about that. You want to vacate it, I'm okay with that. Whatever. You don't have to strip them. But let's keep it real, okay? They get bonuses, okay? And they got punished. But they still get to keep all that, okay? Right. When you punish your child, you take away the Nintendo and the video games and the going out and the curfew and all that stuff. So it's the same thing.
If you're complaining about the punishment, I have no problem with it. I agree with you.
So I'm comparing Rob Manfred with us parents policing, okay? So obviously he's not policing the game and keeping its integrity the way it should be. That's just my opinion, and that's just what I would like to see. Okay,
I don't have a problem with. We can argue the punishment and all that
because we talk about how with the Astros it starts at the top. Well, in baseball it starts at the top, and it's fucking Rob Manfred. And I'm sorry, he's done a poor job.
Now, I will tell you this. Now, again, from the interview today, and this to me makes sense. There were whispers and complaints. Some people filed complaints. They gave them complaints with no evidence. They just complained. They're like, "Yeah, we were in Houston, and they had to be stealing our signs, but they didn't offer any proof." He did say that Major League Baseball started keeping an eye on things, not just with the Astros, but around the league. Started installing more cameras. Installing an official in the dugout, different things to kind of like, let's see what's going on, because he had nothing. His comment was he had nothing actionable, and that's where while I would have liked to have seen him do something sooner, while I would have liked to have had this addressed maybe in 18. So that we don't even have the whispers in 19. It makes sense to me. Again, he could be completely lying and whatever, right? But it makes sense to me that it takes a while to do the investigation or to get to the point of initiating an investigation because you don't have anything actionable. He didn't have anything actionable, so he started to try to put some safeguards in place so that it wouldn't happen in case it was happening. And eventually it got to the point where he got something actionable and had to do an investigation. So that's where I believe him from that standpoint. Now, from the punishment side, especially after the Astros press conference, the fact that Crane got off scot-free, but for $5 million fine, I think is atrocious. And part of that is it's difficult. I can't imagine a situation where you have the quote-unquote power to admonish or punish your boss, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that none of us can relate to. And so I don't agree. I don't agree with the punishment. I don't know that I would want to vacate it, but I feel like there should have been something more done to the Astros because the press conference told me that Crane still believes that they're the champs and they earned it fair and square, and the fact that he didn't get punished it kind of validates his comment, however stupid it may be to the rest of us that heard it, right? And that's where I think that is a big mistake by Manfred, because what is he going to do to the Red Sox? If the Red Sox situation is quote-unquote worse, what is he going to do to them? Right? Now he can't really go make them vacate the World Series, because then now he's going to be kind of grading on a curve, right? Like the Astros cheated for 3 months and the Red Sox cheated for 5 months. Well, that's just too much.
The other thing that pissed me off what he said is, that punishment from the fans. Like, he made it sound like that justifies the severity of the punish, right? That because they're gonna be hearing it from when they travel to other stadiums, and
right.
This is gonna be on their resume or whatever for life. I mean, he's.
It is kind.
I'm not getting paid by baseball, so I mean, I think Rob Manfred should fucking cut me a check if it's my job to punish the fucking Astros. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's silly. That's what baseball wants me to do.
But think about that for a second. That is silly.
That's a silly comment.
That's silly.
I thought the same thing when I heard that. I was like, and not to mention
what a doofus.
the way players are protected, right, by security and whatnot, right? There's fans really don't have that much access, and I promise you, if fans go to the stadium and drop a few F-bombs on Altuve, they're going to get thrown out. So that comment was stupid, and it was just naive. Yeah. It was just naive. Like, what punishment are we as fans going to dole out? That's so you think Altuve is going to bed every night going, they're going to boo me?
Yeah, they don't fucking care.
Yeah, it's crazy. That comment was asinine.
Someone on the radio said on the way here said the other 29 owners should get together and go to Manfred and tell them they want to cut the Astros off the revenue, like TV sharing revenue. I mean, that would be a good idea,
right? Like, so I don't know how much it is.
A lot of money.
I don't know how much it is, but take away 1 year's worth. I wonder.
He suggested 2, but yeah, I mean, even 1 year would hurt.
Well, the year they won the World Series, right?
Okay, right. That's fine.
That's great. We talked about this a while back. Like, what punishments could we give? That's the best one you've come up with.
I didn't come up with it. I wish I could take props for that one.
But either way, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Don't tell on me.
Because you came up with shite last time. But
that's a good one.
Yeah, no, that is good. I don't know. I wonder if there's a separate revenue share for the World Series. There's got to be, right? Take that away from them. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So they revenue share
their revenue away from 2000.
Take away their revenue share, right? They had their revenue share for the season. Every team gets it,
right?
And then in the playoffs, maybe the teams that get bounced in the first round, second round, LCS, World Series, they get a little bit more as they go along, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say it's a $1 billion pot, right? $950 million of it is for, well, no, it'd be more than that. Let's say $900 million is for the season, and then they've got $100 million that's bonuses, and maybe it's, you win the World Series, you get half of it, $50 million revenue bonus. Take that 50 away from them, that would be
big.
Yeah, but again, they can't do it because baseball's got bylaws written where the most you can fine a team is $5 million. Why is that? Because the commissioner is an employee of the owners. Right. That's why the owners have that clause in there. Yeah, you can do your job. Yeah. Does that mean I can even punish you? Yeah, you can punish us. You're the commissioner. You can punish anyone. But we'll cap it at $5 million for us. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of layers to this.
When is all this gonna die down?
I wonder, personally,
not anytime soon.
Personally, I think it's not going to die down. Because I think eventually some player is going to get pissed off and he's going to rat another player out. And that's when the shit's really going to hit the fan.
All it takes is one, right?
All it takes is one. Like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. Tony Kemp showed up at the Oakland A's spring training. And of course the reporters, vultures, right, over to talk to him because he was traded to the Astros during the 2017 season. He very concisely said, I came in the middle of 2017. The system was already in place. They didn't ask me about it, and they didn't tell me anything, and I did not want to know because I did not want to participate. So I don't know anything about it. Or I know that it was there, but I didn't use it, and I didn't, right? Because he's defending his honor, right? Eventually, they're going to go to a guy who's going to say, I'm tired of taking the heat for Evan Gattis, right? He used it the most. Or it was mostly these three guys. eventually I think someone's going to say something, and then it's going to explode again, and then it will die. Because I think what we want as fans and what the media wants, because we want it, right? The media just wants to appease us. They want to know what players did it.
Yeah.
They want to know what players used it, what players benefited, because now what they want to do is they want to quantify how much of a benefit was that. So Altuve hit 29 home runs in 2017, and now we know Altuve was one of the guys that used the trash can. And in 2020, he hit 28 home runs. He hit 1 home run less, so it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Or he hit 17 home runs. Holy shit, he stole the MVP from Aaron Judge. That's what people want. People want to know how much of an effect it had, who benefited, and quite honestly, the Astros and other teams in baseball may want to know as well, because they're going to have to renegotiate contracts with these guys. Right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to die down.
Me personally, as a fan of baseball, I don't want to know all that
You've
stuff.
Had it.
Yeah, I mean, I just want what is right, what is wrong. The same way Tony Kemp, that's it. Tony Kemp is not going to get asked about this shit ever again. He came out, he said what he had to say. No, but it won't go to that extent.
Right? Because he may get 1 or 2 more questions, but
he kind of laid down, he laid down what he had to say. He let you know point blank, hey, I have nothing to do. Now, if it comes out later that he's lying, then that's a different story. But right now, from what you just said, I have no reason to believe he used it. Right? He was
agreed.
Right? I think we can speculate or assume who did use it. And as a fan, that's what I want. I want, hey, come out with a sincere apology. We're not going to get that at this point. I mean, what we got on Friday or Thursday. But, I mean, and what else is there to investigate? There's nothing else to investigate. Are they still investigating the Astros?
No, I think they're done with the Astros. The report came out, they're done with the Astros. Right. They're the only investigation that's going on now, as far as I know, is the Red Sox, the 2018 Red Sox. There's a website out there, some guy, I don't know what he is exactly, but some guy apparently has combed through the video and has counted the bangs for every single Astro in 2017 and 18.
I hope he got paid for this.
And no, I think he's just a nerd. A smart nerd, but a nerd nonetheless. I think, and I think the way from the graph that I saw, and I only looked at it briefly, every single player benefited. Now, some a lot more than others, but let's face it, Jose Altuve gets a lot more at-bats than Josh Reddick, right? Who plays part-time, right? Or Marisnik or whatever. So it's...
How do you feel about the J.D. Davis and Garrett Cole and Marcinick coming out and apologizing, I guess? Well, Cole didn't really apologize. I personally don't think he has to apologize for anything. But what do you think about J.D. Davis coming out and kind of saying, he knew about it? I don't think he admitted to using it, but he says he knew about it and it was wrong and it's shameful, and now that he's on a different team.
Well, I mean, he'll probably catch one in the ribs, and
you think so?
Yeah, I think.
I think he won't. By him coming out and saying that. I think
every single one of those guys is going to catch it at least once, and it may be by accident.
In J.D. Davis's case, I mean, to his defense, he only played in 46. He only had 44 at bats and hit 4 home runs. I mean,
yeah, but in the previous 44 at bats, he struck out 44 times.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm just kidding.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's. But I think every single player, maybe with the exception of a player like Tony Kemp, because Tony Kemp flat out said he didn't use it or whatever, but every other player I think will catch it at least once.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, the fact that Cole apologized makes me like him a little bit. The fact that Dallas Keuchel apologized makes me like those guys a little bit more, because they're pitchers. And... Right. Sure, they're getting a benefit because the Astros are hitting better, right? So it helps them. They can pitch with a little less pressure, knowing that their guys are going to know what's coming and they're going to hit the shit out of the baseball. But they didn't actively cheat. They benefited from the cheating, but they didn't actively do it, and yet they're still apologizing. So I think that's good, and I think that's a little more stand up than someone like Carlos Correa, who came out in defense of Altuve and said he did not cheat not one time, and then 2 minutes later said when they banged the trash can for Altuve, he came back and he told them don't bang the trash can. Well, then he cheated. They did it for him. He cheated. Again, I understand English is not his first language, but there's a difference between not one time, never, not one time. That's zero, and they did it once or twice, and he came back and told them to stop. Yeah. There's a difference, and it's black and white, right? This is no cheating. This is cheating. One time, 2 times, or 2,000 times equals cheating. 0 equals no cheating. Carlos, and he had the balls to make the comment about Bellinger not understanding English. Maybe he doesn't understand. I'll tell you what, the Astros better thank their lucky stars the Dodgers aren't on the schedule. Because that would be beanball fest right there.
Maybe they will be at the end of the season, 7-game series.
No, the Astros.
What if
I almost dare to say the Astros aren't making the playoffs.
What if the Astros make the playoffs and what if they make the playoffs? What if they make the World Series? Wow. Now that would benefit baseball. Ratings would be, fucking to Mars.
Yeah. It wouldn't matter who's on the other side either, right? Like the ratings.
It might.
Oh,
like if the Dodgers.
Well, it'd be the difference between great ratings and phenomenal ratings, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like if the Astros made last year, the Astros made the World Series. When the Nationals made it, it probably wasn't as good as if the Cardinals made it or the Dodgers, right? But now the Astros against anyone in the World Series will be must-watch TV. And if it's with the Dodgers, the internet's going to blow up.
Now, God, I'm not even going to go into. You had something for me on this.
Okay,
before. What was it?
So, part of the problem I have is these guys that are coming out and they're condemning the Astros to the nth degree.
Right.
I have a little bit of a problem with Bellinger because he's really running his mouth a lot. And I'm like, first of all, he's saying some stuff that's factually not accurate. Like the whole thing about Altuve going in the tunnel, it's not accurate. Okay. We've gotten the feed now. We've seen him from an elevated view. He never leaves sight of the field. Anyway, if you had to bet a significant amount of money to you, $1, how many teams would you suspect are cheating in some form or fashion? Give me a number, 0 to 30.
30 teams?
Yes.
10.
10.
A tenth.
I picked...
30. A third. Sorry.
A tenth, 33. I thought in my head 15.
15?
Yeah.
Half to
and that's part of my problem with all of this. You got people running their mouth, and it's like, look, man, don't, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Right.
Like, I'm a little bit bothered by Yankee fans that are running their mouth about the Astros because this all came about because they got fined for using technology to cheat.
Right.
So,
and who was the ringleader?
Carlos Beltran.
And where did Beltran go after 2017?
To the Yankees.
I'm not saying they cheated, but
I'm saying they cheated.
I know assumptions. You make an ass out of you and me, but I don't care.
I don't know. It's shady.
Yeah,
and I think there's a lot of teams out there that look. Everyone pushes the envelope.
Right. Yeah. If you can get away with it, right?
Everyone tries their best to get every advantage they can, and sometimes they cross the line. And I would dare to say half the teams do. I will say this. Regardless of how many teams it is, the Astros are the worst. I think the Astros are the most egregious. I think I would dare to say they knew what they were doing and they did it anyway. Which is why I think Cora is going to get an insane.
See, this is where I'm kind of confused, right? Because if another team comes out, if baseball says the fucking Twins after hitting 400 and something home runs last year, right. Okay, as a team, if it could, man, I mean, they really went off last year, okay? I mean, so if it comes out that, you know, Minnesota, the Twin City, had, you know, garbage cans all over Target Field, what's their punishment going to be? Is it just going to be the $5 million and that's it? Because they were one of the teams that you suspected, or that, you know...
Well, yeah. Well, I think if you find that they had some kind of communication system where they were using technology...
Codebreaker 19.
Yeah, Codebreaker. Yeah, I would think they're going to get the same punishment, right? Their manager and GM will get suspended for a year. The team will get a $5 million fine, and they'll lose their first and second round draft pick for the next 2 years. What else are you going to give them?
Even after Rob Manfred laid down the ground rules?
What do you mean?
Right, even after Rob Manfred, you know...
Yeah, if they did it after that memo...
Right.
The memo said they were going to hold the manager and the GM responsible. If they find that the Twins, for example, did the same thing with, instead of trash.
Sorry, Twin fans, you hit the most home runs last year as a
team. Instead of trash cans, maybe they use buzzers, right? Okay.
I guess what I'm asking is, at this point, would you think it's GM driven or it's player driven, right? Because if the players saw an advantage, if the Twins players said, man, it's really working for the Astros, and they had players are friends, right? They talk, they hang out, work out together and that stuff. What if, I don't know, man, Nelson Cruz, didn't he play for the Twins?
Yeah.
A couple years ago, or right? Yeah. What if he's, you know, and he played for the Astros too, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Word gets around, right?
Right.
And they find out, and they put this system in play. It's players driven, right?
Yeah.
I mean, then don't you think the punishment for these players should have maybe more of a punishment than the Astros did, especially now after?
Well, the Astros players got no punishment.
Right, so don't you think that these Twins players should get some punishment?
Especially
after it's happened already, right?
If they do it in 2020, I think they might. But if it's something that happened in 18 or 19, then they're not. It's going to be the same thing. Here's part of the problem with punishing the players. And I don't completely agree with this, but I kind of do. Manfred sent the memo out and put the responsibility on the GM and the manager. Look, players want to win, and players will push the envelope to win at all costs. But the GM and the manager of baseball operations, those guys are the true leaders. They have the power to stop it. The players don't have the power to stop it. Right? Some players may not have the power, right? Mm-hmm. If you're number 25 on the roster, you don't have the power to stop it because, you know, if the face of the franchise, right? Let's say Altuve for the Astros or Nelson Cruz for the Twins. If he says this is what we're doing and you're, you know, the 9-hole hitter, you really don't have the power, right? But the manager has the power and the GM has the power. And ultimately, they can walk into the clubhouse. Both of those guys can walk into the clubhouse and say, you guys knock it off right now because it's their ass on the line. And players will always push the envelope. They'll always push the envelope because they're trying to gain every advantage they can. If they're the 9-hole hitter, they're trying to stay in the lineup. If they're the 15th guy on the bench, they're trying to make sure they don't get cut. And if they're the top dog, they're trying to make sure they win the MVP for their next contract. Every one of them is motivated to do a little bit better for whatever reason, right? And so it's hard to punish the players. And the directive's out there that they're going to punish the manager and the GM. And so, he's going to stick to that, I think. I don't think he's going to deviate unless something completely different happens, right? Like if it's, I can't think of a cheating scheme that would be different, right?
But either way, it would take 3 years to investigate. I mean, it's going to take long. So
it takes time to come up with actionable investigative leads.
When did the
Astros win the World Series?
No. When did the Red Sox Applegate? When did that happen? In 2017, they were caught using it, and they got punished in 2017.
Right.
Okay. All right.
But again, who knows what evidence was?
No, I understand, but I mean, it's really not that hard, bro. It's Rob Manfred knew what the fuck was going on. Okay. This whole shit that the Astros did press conference was scripted. And I have no doubts in my mind. I have no evidence, but I have no doubts in my mind that it all trickled down. This is what you're going to say. Hey, Jim Crane, this is what your players are going to say and do and act. And keep it short, whatever. Okay? This was all premeditated. Okay? He needed time to come up with this 45-minute interview that he did today with Carl Ravage. He needed time. That's all it was. I mean, there's no doubt this guy knew he had enough evidence to lay the hammer down, and he didn't. He waited too long, in my opinion. Plain and simple. I mean,
I think it's. I don't know what the right time frame is, but I think it's harder to investigate player activity than you think. I think it's harder than you think because, especially
you're going to tell me he doesn't know
in baseball than in other sports because the baseball union is pretty strong and they will defend their player. I mean, it doesn't matter.
All the unions are strong, even in basketball. Yeah, but they're strong. The
NFL union is a joke.
Okay, well, look, the fact that Major League Baseball players are coming out, Chris Bryant, Cody Bellinger, they're coming out and speaking. Trevor Bauer is talking about how the status of the game and how it's. I think that's good, and I want to hear more players come out because I think it's a true reflection of what Rob Manfred is doing with Major League Baseball, and I don't think it's beneficial. Don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna watch baseball. I'm gonna follow it. But it's not, you know what's going on. Come on, if I know what's going on, the players know what's going on. Kurt Suzuki knows what's going on. He said it during the World Series. They had to go early to the field to work on their signs. So how the fuck could Rob Manfred come out today and say, yeah, in 17 and 18 they were cheating, but we had no reason to believe that they were doing it in 2019 when your players are saying it that they were? I don't get it.
That's a reputation thing too, right?
I guess it's a reputation.
I mean, again, I think what Manfred is saying there is he is trusting the safeguards that they have put in place, the additional video monitors, the official in the dugout, other things that he didn't want to disclose for obvious reasons. That made him believe that wasn't going on. But you're right, the Nationals. I mean, the stories out there are that the Nationals players, when they made the World Series, they received, phone calls.
Bless you.
Excuse me. They received several phone calls from friends of theirs in the American League, college buddies or whatever, and told them that the Astros were cheating. And the Nationals did the right thing, right? From what I understand, the Nationals came in and did away with every single sign they ever used and went to a completely new system. Ironically, they won all 4 games here in Houston. Makes you wonder if that had anything to do with it. But then they lost all 3 games in Washington, so I guess it doesn't really mean much. But yeah, they were paranoid, rightfully so, and they changed everything. Which I can't say I blame them.
Yeah.
And that's, we've talked about this before. there's managers that just get hot, right? They push all the right buttons. And we said it during the World Series. Dave Martinez was pushing all the right buttons, with the pairing up of starters to not use his bullpen as much in the NLCS and whatnot. And I guess he kept pushing the right buttons in the World Series too, like changing all his signs. It's just fascinating. I love this stuff. This is insanely interesting to me. Just the cat and mouse game between teams. The cat and mouse game between the teams in Major League Baseball and the rules and what's going too far, what's not going too far. It's fascinating. I find it wildly entertaining. I know you're sick of it.
Yeah, I am sick of it.
But hey, real live baseball games start next week.
Next week, yeah.
So
the 28th or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost to the point where we get some real live spring. I wonder if they'll hit him in spring training. That would be the time to do it.
Yeah, but they're not playing. But they're not playing every day, right?
Just about. They play just about every day in spring training.
No, but don't they have more days off? The players themselves.
Oh yeah, and they don't play the full game, right?
Yeah.
Like the stars, the big names, they only play the first 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah.
But still, enough for one at bat for you to put it between the 2 and the 7 on Altuve. I gotta stop saying Altuve because there's other players on that team to hit.
All 25 of them.
Well, 15 because the pitchers aren't going to hit
pitchers unless they go to when they go to the National League ballpark.
I wonder if someone will try to hit a pitcher. Probably not. They'll be like, "I'm sorry, dude."
The Mets will have a chance when they go to Citi Field.
I really wish that the Dodgers were on the schedule for the Astros this year. Yeah. Although it'll be interesting to see what happens when they go to Oakland, right? Because Fears and Tony Kemp are there.
Yeah. Now Ryu's not with the Dodgers anymore, and he's had a lot to say.
He's with the Twins,
and he had a lot to say about.
He will beam them,
right?
Although
I don't know, he doesn't come off like that though.
He's what is he, Korean?
Something like that.
I don't get the feeling that those Asian players are big into the whole beanball thing. # no racism.
Yeah, I don't know. He sounded pretty bothered by it.
Dude,
so I don't know.
What if they play?
Maybe he'll give one of the other pitchers $50,000. Hey, go beam.
What if the Astros, and I haven't looked, but I don't think they do. What if they play the Reds, and that pitcher, the one that ran to the dugout,
Amir Garrett?
Yeah, I mean that guy may run to the dugout.
They'll just take the bean. They're not gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
and
he's still on the Reds, right?
He's still on the Reds, yeah.
I have a feeling that the Astros will not make the playoffs this year. At first, I thought, this will blow over and it's not that big a deal.
But they'll win the division probably.
I don't know. I mean,
the division. I mean,
the division's not great, but
yeah.
You never know. The A's are good.
Yeah.
And if they fall enough, look, the Twins are going to win the Central, right? But you've got the Yankees and the Rays. Yeah, I guess it's tough to find 5 teams, right?
I mean, all they got to do is win a division are they good for 95 games? Well, 92 games?
And
Who else in that division do you see?
The A's could jump up and win the division, which would push them to a wild card situation.
Right.
The question is, are there 2 other teams out there that are going to win 95 games, right? The Rays maybe, but then who else? The Indians have fallen off tremendously.
Yeah.
I guess the White Sox could have a breakout year.
They could.
They're making some moves. I think the Red Sox are going to be terrible this year. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else.
Do the Red Sox have a coach, a manager?
Yeah, they hired Ron Renicky.
Oh.
Who is, I want to say, 200 or 300 years old. I mean, that guy he's been around forever.
Yeah. Well, took him forever.
Well, we were going to talk about other stuff. I don't even know what it is, and we've been talking for a long time. You ready to wrap this up?
I'm going to go watch the NBA All-Star game. Yeah. I want to see this new format that they have. I'm sure the tribute to Kobe. They renamed the All-Star MVP trophy.
Oh, did
to
they?
The Kobe
I did not
Bryant.
know that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So
I was thinking about that today about the All-Star game, and I want to watch it, but there's a small part of me that does not want to sit through the Kobe tribute. Not because it's gonna be bad or anything, but it's I'm gonna feel bad.
Yeah.
It's just gonna make me feel bad.
I figure
it's gonna make me sad.
Yeah, I figure after today we probably won't get that much. We won't have many more of these tribute type moments. So I think we should, as fans, kind of soak it in and remember Kobe for being who the great player and person that he is.
Well, they still have the celebration of life. I think it's next week or whatever.
What do you mean?
They still haven't buried the guy.
Oh no! I think they buried him last week privately.
Oh,
but
the celebration, celebration of life.
Right, yeah. So,
I mean,
So I
understand it, but man, are we dragging this?
I'm interested to see how this format is gonna work because
what is the new format?
I don't even know. I don't know. All I know that it's all I can remember is that the fourth quarter will be the first team to 24 points. So it's an untimed.
That's right.
I don't remember how the first 3 quarters are going to go. Is it?
Well, I think it'll be the first 3 quarters are normal. I think. And then the fourth quarter, it'll be whatever the leading team's score is plus 24. That's the number.
Okay.
Right. So if the East is, or if LeBron's team is beating Giannis's team 100 to 99, they're going to go to 124.
Right. So that I'm interested in because I think we'll see some actual kind of basketball being played.
Right, because the team that's behind is gonna have to play defense, or they ain't gonna catch up. They can't. They can't just exchange dunks for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I wonder
how long it'll take them because 24 points is about a quarter in the regular season. Right. But we also know that they don't play any. It's only like 4 minutes in the All-Star game, but with a team that's trying to come back, maybe it'll play out like a normal quarter.
Yeah. Well, it should be interesting. I'll be watching.
You got to give the NBA credit. They try.
Yeah.
The 3-point shooting contest and the slam dunk contest was last night, and it was I just can't get into it anymore.
The slam dunk, I'm done with it. I mean, it's only so much you can. There's only so many dunks you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, is anyone going to dunk from the 3-point line? Probably not.
I mean, eventually.
Maybe taco foul.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it would be more interesting if they lowered the rim.
Oh, then I can participate.
Well, here's the thing, right?
Or raise it.
That's another option, right? Move it up to 11 feet. Yeah. But if you dropped it down to 9... Maybe some guys that normally wouldn't dunk be like, well, I can do something on a 9-foot rim. So maybe you'd get more participation.
I think the only way I could probably get into it would be if LeBron, Zion were dunking.
Right, that's the problem. You don't get any of the big names that.
But again, what are they gonna do? Right, like it's only so many 360s.
Zion will bend the rim.
True.
So true. But part of what would make... The one thing I think they need to do is they need to score the miss. Right? You get... It's 0 to 50, right?
Right.
You get 25 points for making the dunk. If you don't make the dunk, you can't get more than 25, no matter how pretty it is. And you only give them one chance.
Right.
That's it. Because that takes a lot out of it for me, right? If I see him do it 3 times... and they give the guy a 50, I'm like, but he had to do it 3 times. Don't they have warm-ups for that?
Right, she'll hold more value if you get it done the first try,
exactly.
Right? Maybe they should go to the pizza review scoring system, right?
Stars?
No, 9.2, 9.3, no, point... right?
That's a partial point. Okay, yeah.
Right? I mean...
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. But I think that's my fundamental problem with the slam dunk contest.
So...
Anyway.
All right.
You got a shout out?
What's this, episode 116? Mm-hmm. Shout out number 116, man. Seattle Mariners, 116 wins.
And did not make the World
Series. And did not, got eliminated in
was it 116 wins?
It was 116.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And didn't make the World Series.
They got eliminated in the wild card game, no? Didn't they? Or divisional round?
The divisional round.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Jesus.
No shout out, man. Shout out to
Rob Manfred?
No, definitely not Rob Manfred. He gets no love from me.
Well, that's good. Hey, Valentine's Day was on Friday. What did you do for Valentine's Day?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What did I do for Valentine's Day?
Nothing.
What was it? A holiday? Is it a holiday?
No, but you didn't do something special for your loved one.
No, it's not on my calendar. Actually.
It's not. It doesn't even show up on your calendar. That's good.
It goes from like 13 to 15. It's empty.
It's just empty. The box is empty. Well, good. At least you're not one of those Valentine's Day haters.
No. I'm just glad, my wife and I have an agreement, and Valentine's Day is not any more special than today.
Right.
Yeah.
Than President's Day. Are you doing anything for President's Day?
I'm not working.
You got the day off?
I got the day off. I didn't know that until Thursday. I was like jumping out of my seat.
Bro. I know holidays. There's not much I know at work, but I do know the holidays.
We've never gotten it before, so it's like a floating holiday.
Dude, float one my way.
Man, if I could, I would.
Shit, bro, that's not fair.
I can always call and say, hey, man, you got to come home.
The house is on fire. Sorry, I got to go. My house is on fire. Isn't it President's Day today? Yeah, but the house really is on fire. I got to go. Shit. All right. Well, with that, we've come to the end of another wonderful episode. If you want to reach out to us and give us your thoughts on the Astros and what awaits them this 2020 season, you can email the show at positivesports10@gmail.com. positivesports10@gmail.com. What were you going to say?
If I remember correctly, I read the record for hit by pitches in the season is 148.
Oh, they're going to break that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah? 148?
They're going to catch one a game.
One a game?
They're going to catch one a game. Plus pitchers that have control issues, they're going to 200.
I wish Rick Ankiel was playing still. He had control issues. He can just blame it on that, right?
There's more than one guy in the MLB with control issues, so I'm sure. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wonder if you could bet on that in Vegas. The over-under.
I'm sure Vegas has that prop.
Futures, yeah,
going up there soon.
Probably. Alrighty, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
And if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well at eMontana21. Catch the Positive Sports Podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, whatever podcast listening device you choose. Catch us on there. Drop us a subscribe, a comment, a like. Whatever.
Just drop something.
Just drop it.
Don't drop a deuce.
Drop it like it's hot. As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.